Where did we meet?
Rancho Santa Fe.
Okay.
Yeah.
For what fight?
Benavides, no, the workout.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, okay.
And
Thank
it's
you.
not that far from here either.
Thank you. I smoked a little too much weed. Short-term memory, not all.
Yeah, no, that's how I am too. I'm good with Facebook, but then I'm like,
exactly. Good to see you again.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering. I was wondering about that because I remember Red and Marvin and
yeah, it's a good look. Yeah, it's a good vibe doing this. It's got that hot 97.
To this day, I'm like, wait, I thought they rebranded Red into Marvin.
You gotta be the hot 97.
He's right. He's right. He's right.
He's like, you see somebody get shot. Remember how that?
He's right. That's always been his calling. Seem pretty relaxed.
Yes, he's in a studio having the same. That's a lot better. I like it. I should be out here. Well, in Vegas full time. Either by this weekend or early next week.
Like after I released them.
So they didn't get roasted. So, but still, there's a lot of bad things. And I'm cool with everybody. I'm not roasting. So I just don't get it. So I'm good. You know, there's a lot of times that I want to go.
Ya vienen llegando los cinturones. Vamos a saludar ahí. Raulote, ¿cómo estás? Ahí vienen con los cinturones en nombre de nosotros.
It's not worth the like.
Y bueno, esta es la prensa que se da cita hoy aquí en San Diego, California. Una chulada de lugar. Nosotros somos los medios nos gustan. Bueno, español.
He did it with Spanish, right?
Yeah, like a package of the whole event empty.
IBF, where are you? Where are you, IBF? Oh, it did?
Yeah, it's right behind Joe Marcotte.
These are for free.
This is what you're supposed to try. So
Yeah.
good luck.
not be doing shit with her.
Right. They do. I'm gonna be dying today.
We get home like.
Oh, my shoulder's gonna be buff. I'm gonna have one buff arm and one little arm. It's oh yeah. No. If you start on time, you're not a champ yet. That's for rookies.
Who got time.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now live. We are now live. Please take your seats and make sure your cell phones are on silent.
Welcome you to Southern California as Matchroom Boxing kicks off the official promotion to Canelo Bivol, the undisputed champion at 168 pounds. Canelo Alvarez makes his return to the ring here in 2022, and he makes a return to 175 pounds as he takes down the WBA light heavyweight champion of the world, Dmitry Bivol, on Saturday, May the 7th. It's all happening live and exclusively on the Zone pay-per-view at a venue yet to be determined.
Undisputed super middleweight champ in the house. The champion of one division moving up to face. Sell it like.
I'm at lunch today right now. I'm at lunch, so.
They should do that. They should say. Right. That's how they should sell it. It's the super middleweight champion moving up to face the light heavyweight. Just pretend he's like the light heavyweight champion. Yeah. Champion versus champion.
Has Bell Smith?
Better Beeves the champ.
Right?
Yeah,
Better Beeves is a unified.
He's the champ. But he's facing the number 2 guy right here.
Yeah, people went so long just defending. It's like, bro.
Right.
Unified. But they don't like fighting each other.
Who?
Russians either. Kind of like, I guess, Canelo with the Mexicans.
Yeah.
They don't. Because I remember back when he had just gotten his fucking title, I had asked him, like, oh, back when he was still fighting kind of like in the main events, I asked him, like, not fight Pavlovich. He's like, I don't know.
That right there, just a little
They shouldn't think of it
the road
that
ahead to
way.
May 7th with
Y'all
Y'all still
Canelo Bivol.
They should think-
pride to your country.
You guys
From San Diego, we're going to hear from the man who many
you will
call the
elevate
pound-for-pound king.
your boxing
That
community
Canelo
by giving them
Alvarez
these great all-Russian type, like Mexico did with Morales and Herrera.
The chairman of Matchroom Boxing,
That's
Eddie
what Canelo
Hernan,
said that shit
see
to him, like,
some of the stars
So you're gonna
about to
discriminate?
walk the red carpet here in San Diego on their way inside WBA
And at the end of the day, all that shit aside, it's just fight the fights people want to see.
Yeah, and individually, like, I don't care.
Right.
Like, I'm position for me, and I want to be the best. Like, why am I letting that shit get in between?
We're also going to hear from Canelo's.
It shouldn't really affect anything. Yeah.
Dimitri's manager, Vadim Kornilov, is also his trainer, Gennady.
I look at it, if you guys were to do that, you're going to elevate your country and the sport together, you know? But they look at it more like someone has to lose. Right.
At least for this fight coming up here on May the 7th.
He was already walked at that time already, so why not jump in that?
2019 when he took on Sergey Kovalev, and he delivered a very impressive 11-round knockout to win his debut at 175.
That's a new one from Canelo, the not wanting to face Mexicans thing. You're the first. I've never heard a Mexican say they had a problem fighting.
That's like you said, they face, like, especially because boxing, like local boxing in Mexican states, like it's so big. Like Tijuana has such a big culture of boxing.
Right.
Right? All these, like, Querétaro and like that Cancun area, they have a big boxing
Canelo Alvarez.
kind of culture there.
Right.
Every Saturday there's fights.
Right.
So, like, so I'm like,
It's every Saturday, bro. Yeah, you might as well start doing it when you both get paid $10 million. They're fighting every weekend for peanuts.
there's no way, like, my fans can say something. Like, that's how they make their names. Like, yeah, Oscar and Berchel, that was huge for us.
Right.
We were like, oh, like, we're happy about that.
Right.
I thought Berchel was gonna win, but
Everybody did.
he's fighting that guy that
Nakatila. The guy from, yeah.
What is that name sound familiar? I'm like,
facility outside.
Shakir's leftovers.
Most of everyone on hand has made their red carpet walk, but now we get the official red carpet walk for the two warriors that are going to tangle on May the 7th, exclusively on the DAZN pay-per-view. Stars getting their pictures taken here. We know when this fight was announced, part of a package deal, at least a two-fight package, as Canelo goes up against Bivol here in May, and then presumably if all business is taken care of with Canelo here and Gennady Golovkin next month in Japan, those two will be on collision course for a trilogy fight later on in 2022. We see Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso making their way inside here in San Diego, California, as we kick off the festivities here in Southern California. Dmitry Bivol, 19-0, 11 career knockouts. He's going to be making his red carpet walk momentarily. So you have the ring walk on fight night, the red carpet walk here as we kick off the launch to Canelo Bivol here in Southern California. Bivol coming off a win. Successful title defense in November of 2021. He has made numerous title defenses as he gets ready to go to make another one against his most formidable opponent here in Canelo Alvarez. You see Canelo, Eddie Reynoso, and Dmitry Bivol being greeted by Matchroom Chairman Eddie Hearn. All the belts on display on the dais as we get ready to roll. From San Diego, Canelo Bivol, live and exclusively on the DAZN pay-per-view, Saturday, May the 7th. And Canelo getting ready to speak, along with his trainer, Eddie Hearn. I beg your pardon, along with his trainer, Eddie Reynoso. We have Eddie Hearn, one of the men who helped facilitate this deal in Canelo's return to Matchroom Boxing, ready to go here as we kick off the official press conference between Canelo and Bivol. Mr. Eddie Hearn, take it away.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to San Diego for a very special press conference. Legacy is earned is a strapline for this event, and I don't think anything could be more fitting when you talk about Canelo Alvarez. Back on DAZN, May the 7th, DAZN pay-per-view from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Canelo Alvarez challenges Dmitry Bivol for the WBA Light Heavyweight Championship of the world. It's an absolute honor to sign a multi-fight deal with Canelo Alvarez and his team, the great Eddie Reynoso, and of course DAZN as well. Working with this man is very, very special. I think we all appreciate in boxing that the big fights never get made, and that's because the teams and the fighters sometimes look for easier options. I've never worked with anyone like Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso. This is a true great of modern day boxing. When you look at the resume coming off the back of the Gennady Golovkin 2 fights, the fights against Daniel Jacobs for the middleweight championship, stepping up 2 divisions to fight Sergey Kovalev for the WBO light heavyweight championship, and within 1 year becomes undisputed 168-pound championship by beating all 3 champions in Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant. If that wasn't enough, now he moves up again another division to fight, in my opinion, the best light heavyweight in the world in Dmitry Bivol. Dmitry Bivol, undefeated, current WBA champion of the world. We've worked with him for a long time. His manager, Vadim Kornilov, and World of Boxing, who we have a great relationship with. This young man has been looking for an opportunity like this for a long time. This is not a young man that's reached the end of his career or is past his prime. This is an outstanding champion that is in his absolute prime, ready for the opportunity of his life against the pound-for-pound king of boxing, Saul Canelo Alvarez. Many people to introduce to you up here on the dais, and first of all we're going to pass over to our global partner, Joe Markowski from DAZN, to talk about the fight. Again, this partnership with DAZN going from strength to strength globally. Just fresh off the back of the O2 Arena with Lawrence Okolie defending his WBO Cruiserweight Championship, and this Saturday, live here in San Diego, a thrilling matchup between Chocolatito and Julio Cesar Martinez. Next week, Lee Wood defends his world title against Michael Conlan. The week after, Virgil Ortiz defends against Michael McKinson from the UK, and the week after that, back to the UK for Josh Warrington, bidding to become a 2-time world champion against Kiko Martinez. The shows do not stop globally for DAZN, and we're going to pass over to Joe Markowski to say a few words.
Thank you, Eddie, and thank you everyone for attending today. It's a really exciting day for us at DAZN, and we couldn't think of a better event and a better partner in Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso to launch our DAZN pay-per-view platform. Clearly our schedule, Eddie's alluded to it, globally is getting stronger and stronger. The subscription value that we are offering to subscribers is continuing to be very, very strong. With our special events around pay-per-view, we're truly excited about the opportunity that gives our business in the coming years. Eddie spoke about the quality of this matchup. The deal with Canelo gives us a fantastic couple of events this year, and we can't wait to serve that on the DAZN pay-per-view platform to our audience around the world. To both men, thank you for your partnership. Best of luck in your preparation, and we look forward to seeing all of you on May the 7th on DAZN pay-per-view. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. We head to the champions team, the WBO light heavyweight world champion, Dmitry Bivol, and a man, I call him a young man, he's like Benjamin Button, never really ages. Vadim Kornilov, been in boxing for a long time, represented some of the finest champions in the sport, been pushing very, very hard for this opportunity for Dmitry Bivol, the manager of Dmitry Bivol from World of Boxing, Vadim Kornilov.
Thank you very much, Eddie. I appreciate it. We appreciate the opportunity. This is going to be a very, very exciting fight for us. This is something that we've vowed for a very, very long time, and appreciate Team Canelo for giving us the opportunity. We look forward to it, and I hope everybody's going to be healthy and everybody's going to be ready for the fight. Eddie, thank you very much. Matt Room, Frank Smith, DAZN. Looking forward to a great event. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Vadim, and to your fighter, a guy that we've worked with for a long time. First saw this young man in Monte Carlo defending his WBA world title, scored a first-round knockout over Trent Broadhurst, and from then we knew he was very, very special. Went on to defeat Joe Smith convincingly, the current WBO light heavyweight world champion, made a number of defences around the world, and this is a man that has been waiting for this opportunity for a long, long time. Many feel the standout fighter in the 175-pound division, the current WBA light heavyweight champion of the world, Dmitry Bivol.
Hello everyone. I want to say thank you all my team, my promoter, World of Boxing. Of course, thank you DAZN and Eddie here and Canelo and his team for opportunity to making this fight. I believe in my skills, and when I come to the ring, I believe in my victory. And I'm looking forward to my 7. Thank you.
to Team Canelo, who never failed to astonish me. I've never known a team of people that are so willing to fight literally anybody in the sport of boxing. Never ducked a challenge, always faced champion after champion, and another huge task for them. And before we welcome him up to the stage, I just want to take this opportunity to award Eddie Reynoso with the Ring Magazine 2021 Trainer of the Year. This is an outstanding trainer, someone that lives and breathes the sport of boxing, dedicates his whole life to the sport. And if Eddie Reynoso is in your corner, you're going to be a very tough man to beat. So on behalf of the Ring Magazine, Eddie Reynoso, congratulations, 2021 Trainer.
Gracias, Eddie, por el detalle a Ring Magazine también. Y pues estamos muy contentos por esta nueva pelea, un reto importante ante un gran campeón como es este Bivol. Vamos a traducir.
Yes. Yes. Just like thank you for the award. Thank you for, especially the Ring Magazine, for making this happen. We're very happy for this fight that we have coming on against a very tough challenge that we have, a champion in Bivol.
Y pues vamos a estar listos como siempre para que el legado de Canelo siga creciendo todavía aún más. Vamos a buscar una división complicada, pero pues para eso son los grandes campeones, el mejor libra por libra, quiere seguir siendo y quiere seguir demostrando.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to the challenge that we have. We're trying to build Canelo's legacy, obviously, and to convert him into the best pound for pound fighter. Thank you for being this year.
Thank you, Eddie, and to the man who, as I said, truly does fight everybody, a true modern-day great. Legacy is earned, as they say, the current reigning undisputed 168-pound champion, multi-division world champion as well, the pound-for-pound king of boxing, Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. No, thank you for the opportunity to fight for the world champion. Thank you so much. I'm really glad to be back with Eddie Kearns and work with him, with his son. I'm really excited for this year. I just, I'm gonna work hard and do my best in the ring and make a good fight for the fans. Thank you, everybody, and see you May 7th.
Thank you, Sal. A couple of questions for the guys up here. Sal, firstly to you. I joked with you back there, I said, do you prefer a podium? Do you like press conference sitting down? You just said, I don't care. Is that just the mentality that you have in your career as well? I know you leave everything up to Eddie Reynoso, but willing to take on all challenges and keep your life simple. You love the challenge of boxing.
I don't care. I like challenge. That's make me feel alive. Challenge for me and everything in my life. So I like really good challenge, and now I have a very good fighter in front, and I'm excited. I'm excited for this fight.
Dmitry, obviously for you, I know that Vadim's been putting pressure on us for a long time. We want the big fight. You didn't feel this fight would happen finally. What does it mean to you to fight the pound-for-pound king, Canelo Alvarez, in Las Vegas on May the 7th?
Yes, me and my team wanted this fight, have won this fight, and I'm glad this fight will be in the главном городе that happens here in the United States, in one of the biggest towns of boxing, biggest mecca of boxing. It's also very exciting. It means a lot. Победа вообще означает, что мы можем сражаться с одними из лучших мира, и я смогу показать лучшие качества. Наконец-то меня увидят больше. This is very important for me, especially because I'm fighting one of the best in the world, or the best in the world right now. And I want people to be able to see me and to be able to see my skills. And this is a big fight that can give me the ability to achieve my other goals and to go on if I win this fight.
Thank you, Dmitry. And Sal, finally to you, Cinco de Mayo, Las Vegas has become a very important time of the year for your people as well, but make no mistakes about it, you see a serious test in Dmitry Bivol, in his absolute prime, current world champion, and a real tough fight for you on May the 7th.
Yeah, he's a really tough fighter, and it's gonna be a really good fight for Cinco de Mayo weekend with my people in Las Vegas, and Mexican weekend. I'm really excited, and I'm gonna prepare myself really good because this fight is gonna be really hard.
Well, thank you, Team Canelo, Eddie Reynoso, congratulations. Sal, Canelo Alvarez, Joseph from DAZN, thank you so much. Dimitri, Vadim and training team as well. May the 7th, T-Mobile Arena, Cinco de Mayo weekend, live on DAZN pay-per-view. Canelo Alvarez at it once again, moving up to 175 pounds to take on undefeated world champion Dmitry Bivol. Do not miss this show, do not miss this incredible action-packed schedule coming to you live on DAZN all around the world. We're going to face off with the fighters now. Thank you for attending, and the guys will be available for you after. Thank you.
Hold on. Thank you.
Guys, you just gotta stay down. Guys, hey, we have TV cameras there, you gotta stay down. Elbow straight down. Thank you.
Staring contest. They're gonna do like Wilder and Fury.
Right, right. Uh-oh. False start. Video's out? Okay, cool. All right, look at that.
Right. Thank you, Sal. Yeah. Thank you. Now here with the finger, with the finger. Camila, cámara, güey. Acá, güey.
Money in my city, Vegas for 27 years, baby.
Acá una acá. Thank you guys.
Gracias.
Canelo, con todo tu equipo, ¿no? Canelo, con todo tu equipo, Canelo, con todo tu equipo, por favor, con todo tu equipo, con todo el equipo de Canelo.
¿Qué más quieres?
Por favor, tú eres mi, thank you guys.
¿Qué más necesitas? Tú pide, ¿qué más?
Gracias, mi Canelito, gracias, mi rey. Todo el club. Eso, ¿cómo
Póngase aquí,
unos ahí abajo, exactamente. Eso es, gracias, Canelo. Ahí se los tengo jóvenes, ahí se los tengo. Beautiful. Ahora, esto, gracias. Canelito, cariño. Thank you guys. Ya se pueden ir, gracias.
This is a very good young trainer from England called Eddie. Yeah. And Eddie. There you go. Great trainer, great young trainer. Three Eddies. He's Eddie. London or Guadalajara?
How close are you guys to a potential fight to this one in Dubai? There was talks of Dubai. Was there a serious offer?
Yeah, there's a lot of people came around. Obviously, every major sporting country wants Saul to come and fight there, but time was short. Las Vegas, Cinco de Mayo is a great weekend, so we go there for the next one, and then I'm sure you'll see Sal box around the world this year in 2022.
So, is Dubai somewhere where you would like to take a fight to? Dubai es un lugar que te gustaría pelear, ¿no?
I really want to go other places.
Put out music a little bit.
This time we have in Vegas, but I will not fight in other places.
And is there any concern? Tensions obviously going on in Russia, and we saw a lot of just across sports, no sanctioning, no football, and even the WBA came out with an announcement, and then they kind of retracted it.
They didn't retract it. They didn't retract anything. They made their statement. We're not a governing body. Sal is a fighter, and we'll follow the guidelines from the governing bodies. And I've known Dmitry Bivol for a long time. He's been waiting for this opportunity for a long time. We look forward to a great fight on May the 7th.
Canelo,
we're ready to go. Yeah. Thank you.
Right here,
Tom Sweeney, friend of mine, thank you, appreciate it.
While you're
having fun, Eddie?
what's your favorite food outside of it?
Like Creole style, Mexican. Yeah.
Eddie, get a quick moment?
Yeah.
What is it, close? Yeah. Get the back
We have got a fantastic relationship.
Что делать? Раз люди так хотят, то я буду тогда форсировать. Мне сейчас я думаю того времени. A lot of people will say things and justify things on certain items that they, on certain things that they don't understand. I'm a boxer, I'm an athlete, and that's what's important. I understand that very well, and I can talk on that. As far as politics, I can't talk about COVID because I'm not a doctor. I'm not somebody who understands it. I can't talk about politics in the same understanding because I just don't have the knowledge to be able to talk about it. But overall, the situation with the flag, I mean, at the end of the day, my job here is to be an athlete, and it's about sportsmanship, it's about the competition, and about winning the fight. And I think that's what's important, and I think everybody would agree on that. And by that time, hopefully things are going to be in peace, and hopefully things are going to be changing by May, and I'll be able to walk into the fight just as I always did before.
You're the one that got to fight. People are pressuring him to fight David Benavidez next. You sparred David Benavidez, you know him very well. I know you're fighting Canelo first, he has to get through you, but what do you think about a fight between Canelo and Benavidez stylistically? You sparred him.
I sparred Benavidez, yes, and he's a good fighter, yes, he has good skills, and he has enough to get this fight and win this fight. Why not?
What does he have? What do you think he has that
Какие у него качества? У него хорошая защита, у него хорошая дыхалка, он вот одни из, у него комбинационная работа хорошая.
There's a lot of good combinations, a lot of good defense, good conditioning.
Without getting too political, how has that situation going on in Russia and Ukraine impacted your training?
Как-то ситуация с Украиной и Россией повлияла на твою подготовку?
Скажи то, что я был в Узбекистане в это время, когда все началось. Конечно же, я переживаю за эту ситуацию, потому что у меня много друзей из Украины. У нас человек в команде из Украины, да, то есть у меня много друзей вообще в Европе и в Америке. И я им желаю только всего самого лучшего и мира. И хочу скорее, чтобы все вернулось.
I was training, beginning of my training, I was in Uzbekistan in the mountains, and I was doing my conditioning training over there when all this started. And of course this affected me somewhat in some way because I have a lot of friends in the Ukraine, I have a lot of friends and relatives in Russia. I have, there's people that work on our team that are from the Ukraine. And the only thing I wish for is for everything to go back to normal and for everybody to be in peace. I mean, that's what's important, and I hope that happens in the near future.
What does he think about Lomachenko, Usyk, and the Klitschko brothers? They decided to stay home and defend their country. Does he want to comment on that?
Ты можешь дать какие-то комментарии по поводу того, что Кличко, Ломаченко, Усик остались дома и защищают свою страну?
Я никак не могу прокомментировать эту ситуацию негативно или позитивно, но потому что это их выбор, это их дом, и каждый человек вправе выбирать то, что он как бы считает нужным. Я к ним всегда относился и отношусь с большим уважением как к боксерам и спортсменам. Я считаю одних из самых лучших и всегда поддерживаю их в боях. Хочу, чтобы они выиграли.
You know, of course, again, it's hard to comment on something that's related to people defending their home country and all of that. I mean, as athletes, I respect them a lot. You know, they're some of the best in the world, and as people, I respect them a lot. But their choices and what they do, it's very individual. You know, I make my own choices, they make their own choices, and you know, they have to do what they have to do.
Being that, you know, like you said, you're just the athlete, and I'm sorry to even have to ask you about this, Dmitry, but when the WBA is talking about not allowing the Russian flag to be, you know, brought to the ring, and do you think that's wrong? Because, like you said, you're just an athlete, just fighting.
They just
sorry,
they want peace. They want peace, and that's what's important to them, and it justifies what they're doing for them. So you know, everybody's just trying to bring everybody to peace.
And you know, since Gennady Golovkin, no one's really tried to step to Canelo and engage a kind of toe-to-toe way. You know, Saunders and Plant, they tried to box him. Do you feel like you're the first guy in a while that's going to step to Canelo and exchange with him in the center of the ring?
Кроме Геннадия, никто из Канело еще не встречался как бы лицо к лицу и не обменивался с ним. Ты думаешь, ты можешь быть одним из первых?
Да, вполне могу, потому что у меня достаточно сил тоже и умений. Может быть все что угодно, я готов буду ко всему. Я буду стараться, тренироваться и готов ко всему. Будет такая ситуация, будем действовать так. Очень часто мы же думаем, строим планы, а выходим в ринг, и все планы вдруг рушатся и появляются новые.
All I can say is I'll be ready for anything, and you know, I have enough strength and I have enough physical ability to step up to him if I have to. It's just hard to predict because a lot of times we will do a lot of planning, but the fight will go as it will go. And you know, I'll make sure that I'm ready for whatever the fight will bring. And if I have to step up and exchange, that's what will happen.
Is there anything he can learn and add to the game plan from the two Golovkin fights? And you know, is that ever the case? You go back and watch other fights of your opponent to learn from.
Что-то ты можешь взять из двух боев с Головкиным, что ты мог бы взять для своего боя?
Прямо
и вообще, что ты берешь от других боев?
Вообще, когда я смотрю другие бои, я смотрю на плюсы и минусы лично боксера, с которым я буду драться. Я просто смотрю, что можно сделать против него, что я смогу лично сделать. Не то, что Геннадий сделал, а именно я. И чего мне стоит избегать. И все.
When I watch my opponent's fights, and just like right now with Canelo, I'm watching to see what are his negative and positive sides, and I see what I personally can use in my favor and what advantages he has with me. So it's hard to kind of compare that with Gennady because Gennady's a different person, different boxer, but I do take from every fight and see what I can take advantage of.
What are your best attributes? What are your best attributes in this fight? What's going to give Canelo a hell of a fight on May 7th?
Какие твои лучшие позитивные стороны, атрибуты, которые создадут проблемы для Канело 7 мая?
Я подвижный, у меня достаточно хорошая сила удара, у меня есть скорость, у меня есть все качества на определенном хорошем уровне. Я в них верю.
I take advantage of my good movement. I have enough strength, and you know, I have good technique qualities that I can take advantage, and I believe in myself. That's what's important.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Dmitry.
Over here.
What? With the he already talked about it.
Pissing everybody off.
Yeah.
Uno, tres, cuatro, cinco.
He's going to be in that pilot.
I know.
Ahora, si cierras aquí, tú ya conoces a Canelo en San Diego. ¿Qué es lo que te hizo al final de cuentas estar aquí, decidir aquí que sea tu casa, seguir aquí pues, entrenando? ¿Qué es lo que te ha hecho decir, aquí San Diego es mi casa y quiero seguir?
No, pues la verdad es que sí me hace muy similar, más que nada la comunidad que existe aquí, lo que me mantiene aquí entre la
Ya para terminar, tu hermano abrió una taquería aquí en Chulavista, si no me equivoco. ¿Qué fue lo que decidió tu hermano decidir que íbamos a abrir un establecimiento, aparte de otros lugares de las sucursales que tienen en México?
Así es. No, la verdad es que yo le platiqué un día tacos y los tacos que hay aquí no es lo mismo. Y le dije, ¿por qué no? Porque él, la verdad es que su taquería es de las mejores de México. Muy buena. Le dije, ¿por qué no? Vamos con eso aquí en San Diego primero y vamos bien. De ahí salió la idea de las
Entonces, ¿van a tener el mismo sazón que los que tengo en Guadalajara?
Sí, claro, esa es la idea. Es traer el mismo sazón, traer todo lo que está en Guadalajara, porque si no, no tiene caso ahí lo bajamos aquí, pago un karaoke, es lo que hay, es lo que come. Pero queremos traer el sazón de ahí, Guadalajara. Queremos que sepan igual que allá para que la gente lo vea.
Bueno, está viendo con Sabe Canelo Alvarez, se está invitando a todos, esperemos, para la inauguración. Y bueno, esto es todo por mi parte, soy Juan Ricardo Gómez, y Sabe Canelo Alvarez.
How was that?
Good.
Play well that night?
I played so-so.
So what do you think about the challenges that you faced?
No, it's a big challenge for me. Go up to 75 and fight with for me the best fighter. It's a big challenge for me.
What do you draw from the experience to win a challenge?
No, it's a hard fight for me. I feel the power is different. If I with power, but like I say, that's for me, make me feel alive. That's the challenge. And this time I'm going to fight a really good fighter. A lot of experience in amateur right now is fighting such champions in so we have a lot of experience, but myself, like always, and
you hear a lot of talk about legacy. What is a fight, an opportunity like this? What it could potentially mean for you?
So just told me one fighter to go up, go down, and then go up again to have this kind of challenge. Nobody. So that made me keep playing peaceful and boxing. That's what I want.
What made you decide to place me in that?
Oh, the weather is so relaxed. It was beautiful. So the weather is similar to Guadalajara.
What have you enjoyed most? Is there a particular experience or event?
I like to be in my house, my routine, go training in my house. That's what I like.
Golf. Is there a course around you that you like?
I like Del Mar, play there, the farms, Gran Del Mar.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
How'd you play it to work?
I played so a long time ago. I played good.
How do you feel about just the kind of fan excitement from Foxy fans and since you were here? Have you sensed that presence and excitement from your presence?
No, I always feel really everyone.
He's had some success, but it's also kind of faced some criticism sometimes.
Yeah, no, he's a really good guy. He's a really good guy, and he trained when he's in the gym. He trained like so. He trained in another gym. He has his house, but he's in the gym, in our gym. But he's a really good guy. We love him.
And he says that you get after him, you motivate him. How important is it for you?
No, I try to do my best. for them and just hey, come, let's go train and let's go train together, and that's
when you're here, you're pretty focused on get out, right? I mean, when you're in San Diego, you're pretty focused on training, kind of get ready.
also training with my family.
Sorry.
Too much questions.
You're fine. Yeah, no, it's TV. Yeah.
Me siento muy emocionado, muy motivado por esta pelea.
No voy a mencionar nombres, pero alguien preguntó, alguien muy conocido, ¿cómo se le gana a Canelo? Y dijo, con huevos. ¿Cómo te sientes de eso de que se te acerque así Canelo?
No, pues la verdad es que muy contento, ¿no? Yo creo que por todo lo que he hecho, pues ha dado resultados, el entrenamiento, la disciplina que hemos puesto siempre en el gimnasio, porque eso es lo que da resultados más que nada, ¿no? Y ahí están las victorias, ahí está el resultado y nadie me lo puede quitar.
Y después de esto, ¿qué sigue para ti, Saúl? ¿Qué quieres?
No sé, primero lo primero, ¿no? Primero tengo este gran reto que es un reto fuerte para mi carrera, pero vamos a entrenar al 100%, dar todo de nosotros y pasar este reto y después vemos qué es lo que viene.
¿Se podría hacer con Triple G o no te interesa?
Está la idea, obviamente, la idea de edición.
De hecho, sí, o sea, y el mismo Real que le ves al Rey Martínez para no te puedo decir tal
crazy motherfucker. Right? And anything can happen in that fight. Martinez could knock Chocolatito out in one round. You know, it could be a war and Martinez gets stopped late in the fight. You know, he could get outboxed. Anything could happen in that fight. And it's just another example of the smaller weights where they just go, you know, that was like, you imagine you've got a situation where with 6 weeks to go, you've got Chocolatito, you've got Martinez, who is so dangerous. And you say to Eddie Reynoso, I text Eddie Reynoso, and I said, look, I know it's a long shot, but will Julio Cesar Martinez take the fight against Chocolatito? Come straight back, my crazy man is ready. And then Chocolatito, same thing, no problem. You know, look at Jesse Rodriguez the other week. 1 week's notice. Do you want to step up and fight Podres?
In case of the Chocolatito wins that fight, how do you see the future for the legend?
Well, I mean, you've still got the Estrada trilogy, you've got Jesse Rodriguez now. I mean, but it's really with Chocolatito, it's about how much longer he wants to fight. You know, but I tell you what, I saw him in the gym, and he looks younger than he did 3 years ago. So he's obviously in great shape.
Eddie, about the Mexican people supporting this event, what are you expecting about it?
Just like, when we talk about energy, you know, the culture of Mexicans and the energy and the life and the music and, you know, when you're in, you'll see on Saturday night. You know what I mean? You'll see, because there's a huge Mexican card on Saturday night that we're putting together. I know that Chocolatito's from Nicaragua, but there's going to be huge Mexican support in there, and Nicaraguans.
Yeah. Last question. What about the numbers of Chocolatito fighting at DAZN? The first time he fought at DAZN was against Jafar. And what about the numbers?
That was on the undercard. You know, now from the Estrada fight against 2, huge numbers. And we expect really big numbers again at the weekend. Julio Cesar Martinez always produces good numbers. You know, Mexicans love to watch him fight. So with the 2 combined, I think we're going to do really well this Saturday.
Thank you, guys. Sorry, we're going to bring the interviews here.
Go.
Appreciate it.
Sorry about that. I guess that. No. I didn't know you. I was just about to say. I feel bad.
Dale los micrófonos.
No, pero 3 preguntitas.
Y pues
fanáticos desde donde estén, que estén apoyando, siempre siento la buena vibra y gracias a todos.
Nos han parado gracias. Aplicas una categoría que no es ajena para ti, ya la que viste hace 3 años. No, ya hace 3 años, ya el cuerpo ya responde un poco, pero háblame de la parte de la preparación física para ese peso, las buscas
No, la verdad es que me siento en mi nunca me siento muy fuerte, estoy en mi momento. La verdad que este tipo de peleas son las que me mantienen aquí en el boxeo, ¿no? Porque al final de cuentas lo que quiero es hacer historia y esta pelea es histórica para mí, subir un título a 65, arriesgar ahora sí que todo para seguir haciendo historia con un peleador como Bivol, que es el mejor para una división. La verdad que me siento muy contento y es lo que quiero en mi carrera.
Aparte de Bivol, llega invicto, ha defendido su título en 10 ocasiones, 16 parece que es un rapidista que ha defendido su posición a capa y espada.
No, sí, espero lo hayan visto, es un peleador que sabe manejar muy bien el cuadrilátero, el contragolpe. Es un peleador muy completo, que va a ser algo difícil para mí, pero pues obviamente para eso estamos, ¿no? Y vamos a hacer todo el entrenamiento que sea necesario para salir avante de esta pelea como siempre.
Aparte de eso, no quiero fijar en temas políticos, pero enfrentar a un rival de una nacionalidad, ya declarar la guerra a Ucrania, eso para ti, ¿cómo percibes eso?
La verdad es que no quiero meterme en ese tipo de cosas, la verdad que ahora sí que las guerras nunca son buenas, ¿no? Eso es lo único que puedo opinar. Espero que no haya ningún contratiempo para esta pelea y pues al final de cuentas él no tiene la culpa de lo que está pasando, pero ojalá que todo siga bien y que no haya contratiempos.
Las Vegas se ha convertido en la casa de los mexicanos. Mayo es una decepción para ti, es una fecha importante, el 7 de mayo, una fecha importantísima. Se hablaba de que quizás la iba a llevarse a cabo en otro fuera de Estados Unidos, pero sin embargo aquí en Las Vegas.
Así es, no, me siento muy contento de regresar a Las Vegas el 5 de mayo, el fin de semana del 5 de mayo para todos los mexicanos, brindarles otra gran pelea, la verdad que me siento muy contento.
Aparte, la comida de la familia sensaciones en redes sociales. Ahora, como siempre, la familia respaldando.
Así es, no, pues mi familia es lo más importante, ¿no? Siempre la familia es lo más importante. Mi hija, mi esposa, mis hijos, mi madre, mi padre y toda la familia en general. Es muy importante tenerlos ahí conmigo y creo que es una fuerza que me da para mí extra en cada pelea.
Y por último, para clausurar ya, el CNN en español festeja sus 25 años de estar al aire y para la afición de la televisión en español que viene a nivel mundial. ¿Alguna felicitación quieras hacer?
Sí, claro que sí. Felicidades CNN en español. 25 años. Espero que cumplan muchos más y que sean los mejores.
Saludos, gracias.
Just ready when you are, bro.
When you first sat down for the match with some discussing what did you tell them on what?
No, they have the opponents already, and I say, okay, I like the opponents, I like Bivol because he have something to offer me, like to be one more time in a world champion in 175, and I like the idea.
What challenges await with Dmitry at 175?
No, weight in boxing is very important. 1 pound, 2 pounds, so it's very important. But I really like challenge. So for me, this is a really good challenge, and that's make me feel alive.
Yeah, obviously, business is to be taken care of here, but a win puts you in line for that trilogy fight with Gennady Golovkin. How is Canelo Alvarez different from the fighter that was last in the ring?
No, way different. You will see this fight happen, but I'm 100% focused on the world fight.
How do you training in San Diego?
Huh?
How do you like training in San Diego?
I love San Diego. The weather, everything is calm, so I love San Diego.
What's it mean to just be able to host this here in San Diego and to announce the fight here?
No, pretty easy for me, right? Pretty easy for me. We have this fight, Martinez and Chocolatito, and Eddie Hens told me, hey, you want to do the press conference here in San Diego? Of course, easy.
¿Cómo estás, campeón? Before you jump from the camera, record.
I'm trying to give you a say hi. What's that going on? How you doing, brother? Steven Guareno, Carolina Sports. Man, I saw you in Pebble Beach at the golf tournament. How'd that go? You got a hole in one over there?
No, not yet. Not yet. It's hard. Golf is hard, but I enjoy a lot, and I'm really disappointed how I play because I'm very competitive. So and I play a little bad, and I don't make the cut, but it is what it is. It's golf. Golf is hard, but that's why I'm a fighter. Right?
Man, you're going up to 175 again. You made it pretty easy going up to 75 to fight Kovalev and then coming back down to 168. How do you do that? Because a lot of fighters have a lot of issues.
175 and go down 160. Yeah, it's difficult. Little difficult. This time is not much pounds, 7 pounds. I think it's pretty easy for me, but you know, in boxing weight is very important. 1 pound, 2 pounds is very important. It's a really hard fight for me, but that's what I love, no? Challenge, and that's make me feel alive.
Eddie Hearn told me that when we were talking about the potential this deal with Bivol and Triple G, he said that he doesn't know. You haven't told him, but he feels that you really want to close the chapter on Triple G. You really want to get the knockout in the third fight. Is that how you feel about the third fight with Triple G?
Yeah, I feel that's what I need, no? To close this rival really good. So, but first is first. I'm 100% focused in this fight because I need to win this fight first, and then we can see it and talk about it. But yes, these two fights is, I think, the best option for me this year.
And my last fight, man. The third fight that seems to be on the deal, I know Beterbiev and Joe Smith are fighting. Could that be the third fight and you become undisputed at 175?
Yeah, why not?
I'm with it too.
We'll see.
Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate it.
Tú que eres muy amigo de J Balvin, te quisiera preguntar, ¿has podido hablar con él sobre la salud de su mamá?
Sí, la verdad que sí he hablado, le he mandado mensajes, siempre estamos en contacto y le he mandado mensajes de que estamos con él y obviamente estaba pasando algo muy delicado a su mamá, pero estamos con él y no queda más que rezarle a su mamá y que todo esté bien.
Claro, y por último también te quisiera preguntar, tú siendo pues un boxeador y también siendo humano, ¿tú has tenido o has pasado por depresión en estos momentos? No sé si por la pandemia.
No, yo gracias a Dios no. A lo mejor en algún momento de mi vida he pasado depresión, pero no me he dado cuenta. Pero no, gracias a Dios no, tengo una mentalidad creo que muy fuerte y obviamente agradecido con Dios de que me haya dado esta mentalidad, pero gracias a Dios no.
¿Quieres saber del grupo firme que se los vas a llevar para que canten contigo, para que te lleven pues al ring?
¿Perdón?
Para que te abran. Porque ¿Grupo Firme o Karim León para que abran?
No, los dos. Siempre los escucho, Grupo Firme, Karim León, siempre están ahí. Beto Vega, el grupo que me gusta, el grupo Selecto, todos escucho todos esos grupos, siempre están ahí en mi repertorio, todos los días los escucho. La verdad que son muy talentosos todos y orgullosos de que sea mexicano, la verdad.
Oye, ¿para tu pelea? Para que entone el himno nacional de México.
Sí, vamos a preguntarle a ver qué dice. Mañana le voy a preguntar a ver qué piensa.
Canelo, obviously you're the biggest attraction in the sport. No matter what you do, there's going to be critics, there's going to be people saying bad things. And as short as you can say, what was the reason for taking the DAZN and Matchroom deal over the PBC deal?
Because,
in your words.
Yeah, because I think these options is better for me, you know. People have something to offer me, one more challenge for my career. the Golovkin fight, if something going good, to end the chapter. So it's a better deal for me. For this year. Maybe the next year I go to BBC and we can talk.
Yeah, what makes Bivol so challenging?
Huh?
What makes Bivol a challenging
It's
fight for you?
One more world title in 175. He's a good fighter, really good fighter. For me, the best in the division. So that's really good.
Is your goal to be undisputed at 75? Obviously, better be than Joe Smith are set to fight. You beat Bivol May 7th. The winner of that fight, it would just be one more fight to become undisputed now at your second division.
Why not?
Canelo, about the Canelo.
Una madre a aquellos que hablan como mal de ti, pero de todos modos quieren pelear.
¿Perdón?
No fue poquito como para darles a la madre a los que quieren hablar mal de ti, pero de todos modos quieren pelear contigo, por eso pelear
Sí,
conmigo,
no.
que no hablo tanto.
Sí, no, la verdad es que todos quieren pelear conmigo, como lo dije, ¿no? Pues obviamente quieren su payday, como digo, siempre quieren pelear, pero yo siempre he peleado con invictos, todos los campeones, con los mejores que están ahí, y obviamente a veces digo, ¿por qué no pelean entre ellos? Y peleo con el ganador de todos, no tengo problema ninguno. Pero este año estoy ocupado con estas peleas. Entonces,
Canelo, ¿cómo ve la pelea del sábado entre Rey Martínez?
Pues es una pelea difícil para Rey Martínez, obviamente sube de peso con Chocolatito, que es un gran peleador, es muy difícil, pero creemos en él, es un peleador natural, creemos en Martínez y creemos que va a ganar.
Canelo win. Bivol, obviously a good undefeated champion, but almost all his punches are to the head. When a fighter throws a lot of punches to the head, does that give you more opportunities to counter to the body? And do you think that happens with Bivol?
We'll see. He's a good fighter. He knows what to do in the ring. He had really good combinations too. He's strong. For me, I love that. I love that because
because you've had to fight movers. Because you've had to fight movers lately.
Who do you want to fight before you retire? Who would you like to fight?
I fight the fighters I want right now.
Who is that? Anybody?
I don't need to wait till I retire.
Canelo, lastly, a couple months ago, obviously, Eddie went to the WBC convention. You showed up as well, but they petitioned to have you be the challenger against Makabu. Obviously not this year, but is that something in the future?
Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Aquí con Saúl. Es un placer platicar contigo de nuevo. Tenemos un cara a cara serio. ¿Puedes contar lo que miras con tus ojos?
Sí. No, la verdad es que estoy cubriendo aquí para que no te face-off, obviamente lo tenemos que hacer, ¿no? Pero no me dice nada, la verdad es que nunca los face-off nunca me dicen nada en lo personal, no siento que me diga algo. Al final de cuentas el día de la pelea es muy diferente, eso es lo que yo creo.
Platicando con Bivol hace un momento, dice que él siente que nunca se ha enfrentado a alguien como a él, y en específico en su poder. ¿Qué es lo que opinas de él?
Pues todos dicen lo mismo, que nunca he enfrentado a nadie como ellos y bla bla bla, pero pues él es un gran peleador, sin duda, un gran peleador, para mí es un nuevo reto y lo sé, él es la clase de peleador que es, pero pues al final de cuentas va a ganar el mejor, yo voy a hacer todo lo que sé hacer, poner toda mi experiencia y va a ganar.
Cuando te imaginas tu victoria el 7 de mayo, ¿cómo lo imaginas? ¿Crees que hay posibilidad de ver un sensacional cada vez?
Pues mira, es un peleador muy duro, es un peleador muy inteligente también, va a ser un poco difícil poder noquear a Bivol, pero como siempre voy a dar lo mejor de mí, tratar de hacerlo y ojalá se dé la oportunidad. Uno nunca sabe en el boxeo.
Con una victoria se dice que ya está pactada la cirugía con Golovkin. ¿Cuántas ganas tienes de ya callar la boca con todas las críticas que ha tenido tanto tiempo?
No, pues muchas ganas, ¿no? Pero primero lo primero, tengo que ganar esta pelea, estoy enfocado 100% y después nos sentaremos a hablar de la pelea de Golovkin. Ahí está pero ahora sí que enfocado 100% en esta pelea, pero sí va a ser un gran año para nosotros.
Saúl, por último, las críticas de Brian García contra Eddie, aquí muchos consideran el mejor entrenador. ¿Crees que te pasó?
Pues mira, la verdad es que no hay mucho que decir, por algo es el mejor entrenador del mundo, ¿no? No hay mucho que decir. Entonces cuando viene de alguien que pues, la verdad estuvo en el gimnasio y sabe lo que es Eddie, pues no tiene sentido, no tiene sentido hablar de eso. Creo que Eddie es el que te tiene que decir ese tipo de cosas, yo simplemente doy mi punto de vista, que no está bien cuando alguien te ha ayudado mucho hablar así o irte y hablar mal de él, pero cada quien, ¿no? Eddie es el que te tiene que contestar ese tipo de cosas, simplemente doy mi opinión, que a mí no me gustan esas cosas, ser mal agradecido no está bien.
Canelo, dos preguntas.
Tres preguntas para Geraldo de México, Canelo. Comentaste que te sentías muy a gusto de volver con Eddie Hearn. ¿Hay una química especial con él?
Sí.
¿Es con el que más te gusta trabajar o cómo?
Sí, la verdad no, hay una química con él, la verdad que me siento muy a gusto trabajando con él, la manera en la que me trata, en la que hace las cosas, la verdad que me siento muy contento.
Bivol, las 175 libras
y no estoy diciendo que otros no lo hagan, ¿no? Simplemente
claro.
que me siento bien estar
química,
aquí, ¿no? Me tratan bien y en otro lado también, pero me tratan muy bien y estoy contento de estar aquí.
Si por ti fuera, ¿trabajarías nada más con Matchroom?
No, la verdad por eso soy agente libre. Soy agente libre para poder hacer lo que quiera y hacer las mejores peleas, ir aquí y allá, lo que más me convenga. Pero como te digo, estoy muy contento de estar aquí, de poder tener este deal con Eddie Hearn.
Oye, vimos Bivol muy respetuoso, hay mucho respeto entre los dos, muy diferente a otras conferencias, ¿no?
Así es como me gusta, para que hacer tanto drama, ¿no? Al final de cuentas nos vamos a subir ahí él y yo y va a ganar el mejor.
Gracias a los
preguntas, por favor.
Yeah, you already asking.
No, just one. I only got, it was at the end of a scrum, I only got one in, and it was just with Bivol. Since the Saunders fight, you've been predicting knockouts. Are you feeling the same way with Bivol in this fight?
I'm gonna try for sure, right? But Bivol is a really good fighter, and other way for me. So we'll see. But I'm gonna try my best.
And it makes sense what you're saying. These other guys fight each other while I'm busy, but a lot of fans, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, they feel like Benavidez is the best fight. Do you?
I don't care. I don't care what they feel.
Will it happen before you retire?
At the end of the day, no make sense for me, right? They don't have nothing to offer me.
Do you think it'll happen before you retire, though, Canelo? If he keeps winning?
Yeah, maybe.
Canelo, what were the deciding factors in you signing with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing?
Huh?
What were the deciding factors that made you want to sign with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing?
I think that is the best option for me this year. No, fight with Bivol and then the other fight, But for me, it's really good challenge. So these two fights, so it's the best deal for me.
Yeah. How important was it for you to fight Gennady Golovkin for the third time?
Oh, it's most important win this fight and then we'll see. The other fight is I know what is gonna happen, but I need to win this fight and then we'll see that.
Can I ask you one more thing? Oscar De La Hoya said that you and Ryan Garcia could potentially fight in the future. Just your comment on that?
That's joking.
Campeón, un placer saludarte. Canelo, entrevisté a Bivol hace tiempo y dijo, estoy dispuesto a bajar a las 168, ¿no? Ahora el que sube es Canelo. Define la pelea, por favor.
Sí, siempre fíjate, cuando vamos a pelear con Troud o con Lara, con ese tipo de boxeadores nos decían que por qué no peleamos con Golovkin, peleamos con Golovkin, y que por qué no peleas con y luego que peleamos con Kovalevic, ¿no? Que por qué no peleas con Bivol, ahora peleamos con Bivol y que por qué no peleas con Benavidez y todo. Creo que si se pudiera hacer unas 10 peleas en un año, yo creo que te aseguro que se podía pelear con todos ellos, pero ya en este nivel hacemos 2 peleas y es más complicado estar enfrentándose a todos. Creo que en su momento no se daba la pelea con Golovkin, mira, ya se va a dar a lo mejor la tercera, o en su momento no se daba la pelea con Lara y se dio, o con hasta con el perro Angulo decían se dio también. Entonces creo que es normal, es normal de este deporte y pues hay que seguirnos más trabajando.
Eddie, why was Bivol chosen over other opponents?
¿Por qué Bivol escogió sobre los oponentes, los demás?
¿Cómo?
¿Por qué escogiste Bivol sobre todos los oponentes?
Pues no es de que uno escoja, simplemente que son los que están en la lista y ves que es más fácil negociar con un promotor o con otro. Ya lo estábamos buscando desde hace tiempo y mira, ahí está.
It's easier to negotiate with the fighter, with Bivol as a champion. We tried to close this deal a long time ago. So we were looking after the champion. That was the main concern, looking for the champion, not the others.
And they faced off today. What did you see in Bivol during the face-off?
En la cara a cara, ¿qué viste tú en Bivol con Saúl?
No, una persona coherente, una persona tranquila, respetuosa y eso es lo que debe de ser el deporte.
Very respectful person, very quiet. That's what should be about the sport.
you get from him, he's mentally strong, that kind of person as well.
Excuse me?
That he's mentally strong, like he's that kind of person as well.
¿Es de la persona que mentalmente es fuerte?
¿Quién, Bivol?
Bivol.
Sí, pues para estar donde está, para ser el campeón que es.
For being the champion that is Olympic and everything, you got to be very strong mentality.
Eddie, you've been telling us when the knockouts are going to happen the last couple big fights. Do you feel that way heading into Bivol too, that it's going to be a knockout and you know when, or not so much because he's a light heavyweight, it'll go 12?
Durante la función no ha dicho que viene a nocar o no, pero en esta pelea tú vas a saber que viene a nocar o en qué round o va a ser la distancia.
Es una pelea complicada porque Bivol tiene mucha buena distancia. Saúl es un peleador que le gusta meterse al infight.
Saúl is like a fighter, he likes to go to the infight inside. I think it's going to be a fight.
Una pelea complicada en los primeros rounds, pero creo que
a bit difficult in the first rounds, but I think it's going to be a knockout.
You think he's going to engage more than Saunders and Plant, come to fight more, toe-to-toe?
Con los demás, con Saunders y Plant, va a ser una pelea más aguerrida.
Sí, yo creo que sí.
Yes, definitely yes.
Porque Bivol es más fuerte.
Because Bivol is stronger.
I don't know if he's open to this, but can you just clarify what's going on with Ryan Garcia and the back and forth between him and Canelo?
¿Quieren saber lo que está pasando entre Ryan Garcia y Canelo?
No, pues nada, creo que uno dice una cosa, otro dice otra.
One person says one thing, the other thing, the person says another thing.
Nada que realmente importe al boxeo.
Nothing that really imports to boxing.
Did it upset him how Ryan addressed his departure from his gym?
¿Te molestó una vez que Ryan se fue de tu gimnasio?
¿Cómo se fue? No, así como han llegado.
Así
como llegan, a veces se van.
They come out the
es
same
lo
way.
más común en el boxeo.
It's very common in boxing.
Más en estos niveles, así como hay manejadores que me han traído boxeadores para que yo los entrene, también hay manejadores que también se los han llevado.
I got managers that brought me fighters, and I got managers that took them away from me.
Creo que no hay necesidad ni es tomarle tanta importancia a este tipo de cosas porque es lo más común en el boxeo.
And don't take it very important about these things because the most common thing in boxing is nothing happens.
Como en todos los deportes.
Like in all the sports.
When picking a fighter for a fight for your fighters, what is the most important thing that you're looking for?
Cuando tú quieres un peleador para tu rival, para tu peleador, ¿qué es lo que más te enfocas tú en la pelea de tu rival?
Pues las cualidades que tiene mi boxeador, explotarlas y después ver si mi peleador tiene las cualidades para poderle ganar y qué cualidades tiene para
ganar. And then if my fighter got the same qualities, the same experience, if they got the same tools, that they can be my opponent.
Do you see anything within Bivol that kind of that makes you guys practice extra harder, stay extra ring or two in the sparring and training?
¿Has encontrado algo en Bivol que puedes superar un poquito más o meterle más ganas, más fortaleza en extender el campamento con este peleador tipo de rival?
Sí, pues vamos a trabajar mucho más fuerza, vamos a estar haciendo una preparación en lo físico más fuerte porque pues no vamos a tener tantas complicaciones con el peso.
We're going to be working a little bit more hard on the weight because we know that we have no problems with the weight. So he's fighting 175, so we're going to put a little bit more pressure on
Last thing, can you give us his take on Ryan's upcoming fight, just as a fanatic?
Who's fighting?
Ryan's fight.
Who is he fighting?
Emmanuel to go.
¿Qué piensas que Ryan de una pelea en puerta, viene un peleador de Uganda? ¿Qué piensas de la pelea de Ryan?
No, pues debe de ganar Ryan, creo que Ryan está en otro nivel y
it's a different level.
Y debe de ganar por cualquier día.
Each won by decision or knockout.
Eddie, as the decision maker in Canelo's career, how close was you to telling Canelo to take the Charlo Benavidez route?
Okay, si la pelea se va a la distancia y sabes que se va a la distancia con Bivol, ¿qué tan cerca tú puedes agarrar la pelea con Benavidez o con...?
No, antes. O sea, cuando estaban decidiendo qué oferta aceptar, la de Eddie o la de Al Haymon. ¿Qué cerca estabas diciéndole que tome el paquete que te estaba ofreciendo PBC de Charlo Benavidez?
Pues como te digo, hay promotores que te ofrecen ciertos paquetes para peleadores, cierto negocio, pero como te digo, este es deporte y es negocio y tienes que tomar donde te convenga más.
You got to see It's a sport. It's about
y no lo hago yo, lo hace todo el mundo.
Everybody does it. It's
Cualquier
about the purse.
promotor,
It's a
cualquier
business.
manejador quiere lo mejor para su
You want everything the better for the fighter.
Nos optamos por tomar la mejor decisión
We're going for the best decision.
y es lo más importante de ser agente libre, que puedes trabajar con todos los promotores.
And it's the best way to be a free agent so you can work with all the promoters at once.
Creo que donde quiera que hemos estado, pues dejamos las puertas abiertas. Con PBC, con Caleb Plan hicimos una gran promoción, hicimos...
Everything we would fight, we left the doors open for everybody.
Gran pelea
With Caleb, we did a good fight, we opened the doors to them. And
y estamos abiertos para volver a hacer negocio con cualquier promotor.
To do more business with another promoter.
How's Valdez looking? He's fighting Shakur, I think April 30th.
¿Cómo va Valdez?
Bien, va bien, está trabajando como siempre, él es un peleador muy disciplinado.
He's a very well-disciplined fighter, very responsible.
Está trabajando fuerte y esperemos dar una gran pelea y salir con la mano en alto.
And we wait for a very good fight, come out with that.
Like you faced a fighter like Shakur before, somewhat similar to Mayweather style. Any resemblance, and does that fight prepare him at all? Like I know Shakur, she's starting off, but somewhat stylistically the same.
El estilo de Shakur como el de Floyd, en algún momento puesta alguna dificultad para enfrentar con el estilo de Valdez.
Sí, no, el estilo afroamericano para mí es de los más complicados que hay en el boxeo, y cualquiera que vaya a pelear con un afroamericano con un estilo, creo que son peleas complicadas. Shakur es un tremendo boxeador.
It's a very good fight, difficult fight, like all the African fighters. And with Shakur, it will be no exception. It will be a good fight against Valdez.
Eddie, I gotta ask. Obviously, the deal with Eddie is for 3 fights. Bivol May 7th. Everything goes well. Then Golovkin, obviously, he has to win against a lot of against, for the 3rd fight. I just spoke to Eddie Hearn. He said maybe John Ryder.
Once you get the hole-in-one, maybe it's that you really want to close out the chapter with 15 with a knockout.
Do you feel the same?
He just started to fight in his hometown, in Canelo.
Nosotros vamos a hacer lo posible para pelear en Guadalajara. Nos interesaría también pelear en Inglaterra, pero creo que le daríamos prioridad a pelear en Guadalajara.
We would love to fight in England, but at the same time, our priority is Guadalajara.
Hey Eddie, what do you love about being a trainer? What do you love about being a trainer?
¿Qué es lo que más tú amas como entrenador?
Estar en el gimnasio, la verdad, a mí me gusta.
Be in the gym. I really love to.
Toda mi vida he estado allí desde
all my life being in the gym.
8 años.
Since 8 years old.
Como entrenador, ya 20 años ahí.
After 20 years as a trainer.
Es lo que me gusta, trabajar con chavos de 4
rounds. What do I like to train kids from 4-rounder with champions, with everybody. That's my life, boxing.
Eddie, if you go to Guadalajara in December, or maybe it's not December, but would it be against Macabu then, do you think?
Podría ser, podríamos pelear con Macabu.
Y con Macabu.
Con Macabu porque pues es campeón del crucero, vamos a ver.
Es the WBC champion.
Cómo nos va primero las 2 peleas y esperemos que nos vaya bien, que Saúl salga bien y vamos a ver qué.
Whatever happened in the first 2 fights, we'll see what we decide in December.
No se preocupa del peso, o sea, obviamente subir a 75, que ya lo han hecho, pero otra vez para Golovkin en septiembre bajar a las 68 y luego subir a crucero.
No, cuando tienes un peleador disciplinado, un peleador fuerte, comprometido, puede pelear en cualquier división. Eso nada más lo hacen los grandes campeones.
Those are the only ones, the big champions that make it. They will go up and down divisions.
Lo hizo Roy Jones.
In this moment, Roy Jones did it.
Leonard.
Sugar Ray Leonard did it.
Entonces son peleadores que muy pocos tienen esas cualidades físicas y que Dios les da esa cualidad de poder subir y bajar.
Roy Jones is the reason I asked, because after he went up against John Ruiz, he came back down and he wasn't the same. Obviously, he had those fights with Tarver. Is that a concern? Is that something,
Cuando subió contra George Jones y bajó después, no lo puedes tomar en cuenta tú para... En el caso de Saúl, ya no es igual el peso, la corpulencia, tiene que ver la edad.
Cada peleador es distinto.
Every fighter is different.
Cada atleta tiene diferente metabolismo.
Metabolism.
Saúl es un peleador fuerte.
Saúl es a strong fighter.
simplemente es un peleador que no tiene la estatura ni de peso medio.
Doesn't have the height of a
Ya
middleweight.
fue campeón mundial hasta en peso semicompleto.
And look at it, he was a cruiserweight champion already.
Estamos hablando de un peleador de una persona superdotada.
We're
para
talking
su
about a
disciplina.
super well-done fighter with a discipline.
Eddie,
Eddie.
can I just ask you, obviously we hear a lot about Floyd Mayweather changing the game with the financials and the money that he brought to the sport and money here. Do you feel like Canelo, with the new deal and the 160 million, that's sort of changing the game on his own front, and that will change boxing moving forward from now?
Ahora que Floyd está haciendo mucho dinero, ahora que tiene el deal de 160 millones, ¿tú crees que Canelo va a cambiar el deporte, el boxeo, y eso va a superar a Floyd?
No, nosotros no queremos superar a nadie.
We don't want to
Estamos haciendo nuestra carrera.
against Floyd. We're doing our own career.
Creo que cada boxeador merece respeto, así
I think
gane más
every
o
fighter
gane menos.
deserves the respect like Floyd, win more or less.
Cada quien
fighter,
cada quien merece lo que
they
tiene.
deserve
Entonces,
whatever he had.
nosotros nos enfocamos en seguir trabajando, en seguir entrenando
And we focus on training and keep working real hard.
Y que el tiempo nos ponga,
and God will give us the time.
Nos dé lo que nos tenga que dar.
And God will give us
Pero
whatever they
haciendo
have to
las
give
cosas
us.
de una buena manera.
But doing the things correctly.
Eddie, you know, Mayweather and Tyson, a lot of fans, they feel like Benavidez is the biggest threat. Is that, I know he's unproven in comparison to Canelo, but is that overstated, or do you understand what they're seeing and what they're saying?
Eso es lo que mencionó, pues es que dicen ellos que piensan que Benavidez es el más fuerte entre todos los peleadores ahí. ¿Tú crees que sea cierto lo que digan ellos por lo que ha hecho y cómo ha peleado?
Pues la gente, la gente
Tyson and Mayweather too.
Ajena al boxeo y boxeadores y ex campeones dicen una cosa y pueden decir otra.
The boxers and the former boxers, they can say one thing and another thing, but not.
Pero no es la realidad.
But it's not the reality.
Hay boxeadores que no tienen ningún nombre y te salen más duros que
There's the
uno que
boxers,
ya tiene
they don't
nombre.
have name and they come out real hard like
Hay un
people with name.
clasificado mundial que está en el número 10 y puede ser mucho más duro que un número 1. Hay un campeón.
You can have a number 10 on the classification. You get much better than the number 1 or the champion.
De una división inferior puede ser mucho más fuerte que
Or
otra. O sea, no se sabe.
A list division
Es
inferior or
complicado.
higher. It's very complicated.
Pero son peleadores fuertes.
But they're strong fighters.
And then for Bivol, you know, Eddie, obviously a good undefeated champion, but most of his punches come up top to the head, not a lot of body work. Can Canelo take big advantage of that in this fight?
Las peleas que tiene Canelo mucho arriba, que pega abajo, Canelo se podría hacer una mejor estrategia de pegar ambos, abajo y arriba.
Para esa pelea.
For this fight, yes.
No, lo que preguntó dice que Bivol tira muchos golpes a la cabeza, entonces que si Canelo podría tomar ventaja con el contragolpe al cuerpo.
Sí, no, pues Bivol es un peleador completo, un peleador
Bivol is a very strong fighter.
Muchos rectos, pero
throws a lot of
vamos a
straight
preparar
jabs.
para eso. Saúl es un gran campeón, un gran peleador y vamos a
Saúl is a great fighter.
trabajar
El
para
ganador de Smith y Benavidez le gustaría también.
Sí,
también.
The winner wins Benavidez.
también.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Gracias, Eddie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias, Eddie.
Gracias. Muchas gracias, Eddie.
What's up, bro? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, go ahead, put that in. All right.
Todo de ti, ganar y te cambia la vida. Te cambia la vida. Y fueron palabras que me nacen decirlas. ¿Por qué? Porque las he vivido y fue lo único que les dije, ¿no? Que después de ganar ese campeonato les iba a cambiar su vida y que pusieran todo de ellos, que era solamente un día más para ser campeones y que iba a cambiar su vida después.
Con lo que quieres a Eddie, pues lo podían hacer tan feliz.
Sí, no, para Eddie fue un gran año, ganó su Atlas, ganamos nosotros, entonces muy contento. ¿Dónde está Eddie?
Buena foto. Está dando entrevistas a Saúl.
Okay.
Campeón. Gracias, César.
Eddie.
Gracias, César.
Ya, amigo, ya.
Gracias, Eddie está allá.
Gracias.
Inca, new Inca.
Gracias.
All right, I'm gonna let him know. I'll sit at the front.
There you go. Just talking about you again. All right, see you soon, yeah? Saturday, yeah? Okay.
Oh, no, I was actually just about to. Oh, you talk yourself for a second? I never heard him talk about it.
¿Dónde quieres ir a ahorita no tengo.
Thanks, Eddie. Thank you.
This Saturday. Well, let me go. I know. What a replacement. Usually you get guys who are like, oh, here's whoever.
We've done really well on the tickets for Estrada and Chocolatito. When you go somewhere like, I've never done a show in San Diego before, but gut feeling tells me that would be a good spot, right? Anyway, tickets were flying for Estrada, and then we announced Martinez, and we said to everybody, look, if you want a refund, like, we understand. Anyway, no one got refunds, and we sold a load more tickets. So I think people like, the best fight I've ever seen live is Estrada against Chocolatito too. But this fight is different. Like, this fight, I have no idea what's going to happen. Is Martinez going to go out there and knock Chocolatito out cold? Is Chocolatito going to school him? Like, I mean...
Either scenario
I know, yeah. But
who do you got, though?
I think that if it goes past 7 or 8, I think Chocolatito becomes a big favourite in the fight. But I think early on, Martinez is going to throw the absolute kitchen sink at Chocolatito. And unfortunately for Chocolatito, we've seen him flatten. You know, we saw him flattened by Rungasai, we've seen him knocked out before, but he looks really good. Like, I've seen him at the Fight Hotel and he looks really, really fresh.
Thank you so much, I appreciate your time.
That's right.
Oh, shit, what's up?
Do you want to do a huddle? Because I've got to go soon. So,
I'll do like 2-3 minutes. Steve Granada right here with Eddie Hearn. Man, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. With this deal, I remember you and I talked about it. You said you were pretty sure Canelo wanted to KO Triple G to kind of finish that chapter off. Have you guys had that conversation about that? Like, you finally gets the opportunity to do that?
Yeah, it was, honestly, like, I don't want to sound like I'm just running the Canelo Alvarez fan club, but it's so easy to make fights with him. You know, you sit down and I say, look, I think you should try and become undisputed at 175. Right? So let's start by fighting Dmitry Bivol. Okay. And then after that, fighting Golovkin in the trilogy would be incredible. Okay. Like, obviously the deal's got to be right, but it's only ever, like, once he accepts that path excites him, the deal follows hand in hand. And there's a lot of animosity between Canelo and Triple G, and I'm going to bring that out if we see that fight. But they've both got tough fights, and let's see if they can get through them first.
For us in the public, we obviously heard about the 2-fight deal with Triple G, Carlo. Benavidez, but it seemed like at the 11th hour there was this third fight kind of mixed in there. Was that part of convincing Canelo to go that route, or was that always part of it?
It was Eddie Reynoso said to me, we'd like to do a 3-fight deal instead of a 2-fight deal because he wants to fight in December. But we didn't have time to paper that deal at the time of signing because we're still working on the logistics of where that will take place and the deal itself. So, and who it's going to be. And we want that fight to be international, in Guadalajara or in London. And we'll see what happens. We're not in any tearing rush to confirm the opponent, just secure the date and look at various options around the venue.
Kind of switching gears real quick, I know you wanted to make the announcement for Usyk Joshua. I think last year when I spoke was like May something. Obviously, Usyk's dealing with bigger issues. So, what on the Joshua side are you guys moving in a different direction? Maybe just because
I think it's too early. It's too early, you know, and it doesn't feel right to sort of start making calls to the Usyk team, asking. You know, it's a very personal time for those guys, and we wish everybody. You know, everyone's in our thoughts over there. AJ just wants to fight Usyk for his belt. So, but obviously if he's not available, we'll have to have an interim bout, but we don't want that obligation to go away. So we're not going to say, like, you know, people tried to pay AJ for that obligation to go away, and he still didn't want to do it. So if we have an interim bout, then we will have the Usyk fight after. But obviously, there's bigger things than boxing on Alexander's mind at the moment, and we wish him all the best.
Last one from me, man. Dillian Whyte didn't show up to the press conference. I don't know, was that a surprise for you?
No, because he feels like he's been disrespected on many levels. There's still some issues to overcome regarding that fight, and you know, he didn't ask.
As far as it being complete, or
just that there's things that he would like in place for that fight. You know, that he doesn't feel like he's been treated fairly. But you know, really the main thing is he doesn't want to be travelling around, flying around. He doesn't live in the UK, so he'd have to fly there. They wanted to put him on some low-cost airline, ramming him in the middle sea, something like that. And there's still a global pandemic, and we're not willing to take the risk. You know, some people want to buy a Ferrari, but they can't afford to put the petrol in. So if you're spending 42 million on a purse bid, it might make sense just to make sure the fighter gets there safely, and you offer him more than 5 or 6 tickets for the fight, which you think they've offered him as well. So there's probably a lot of mind games going on, but Dillian Whyte's the kind of guy to go, all right, fuck you, I'll sit at home and I'll just train instead. Thank you very much. Good luck. Tyson's an entertainer, and you know, he got the job done.
Well, I was going to say, I hope that happens eventually, because we got to see that shit talking eventually. Thank you so much, Eddie. Appreciate your time, sir.
Eddie, 2 questions. First off, what's your response to fans saying that Canelo is picking it easier fighting Bivol instead of fighting Charlo and Benavidez?
Yeah. Okay, well, Charlo has looked absolutely dreadful in his recent fights. You cannot compare the challenge of a middleweight like Jamal Charlo that's had no standout victories at all and hasn't looked good in any recent fights to a big, strong, unbeaten light heavyweight world champion in Dmitry Bivol. So Canelo's just not interested in fighting a voluntary defence against Jamal Charlo. He'd rather step up and fight a champion for his belt with a plan which is ultimately over the next probably 12 to 18 months become undisputed at 175. I think as well, a lot of those guys, and by the way, I spoke to Jose Benavidez last night, who's here. They appreciate, well, he does, because you know he's not a hype man or anything like that. But Benavidez needs a proper win, and it's not his fault, by the way. I truly believe that Jose Benavidez and David Benavidez want to have big fights, but it's a bit like Demetrius Andre. You know, they're all great fighters, but that's why I said to David last night, let's just make that fight, Demetrius against Benavidez, you know, and because I feel like maybe part of Canelo also thinks, well, I had to fight all these tough fights coming up to sort of make my name. You know, why don't you go and fight one of these real fights? But it's not. I think Charlo has actually turned down a lot of fights, what I believe. I know he turned down the Andre fight for a lot of money, but I genuinely think Benavidez is a guy that wants to be in big fights and is willing to test himself. And I think down the line, Benavidez, Canelo, I'm sure will happen, because what I can reassure you is that Canelo Alvarez will fight absolutely anything.
Did he tell you straight out, like, Charlo doesn't interest me, like, I don't like that fight?
No. I mean, I don't really, you know, the situation was everybody made their offer.
Yeah.
Him and Eddie looked at it and said, we want to go with Matchroom. Yeah. And, you know, it's probably a mixture of they liked the fights and they wanted to work with Matchroom over anybody else. So, that was a blessing and tremendous. And I know everyone's talking about the Gennady Golovkin fight, but he's got a real handful on his plate May 7th.
Does he? That's what. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's
because they would bring up Bivol didn't look too great in his last fight.
But the problem is when you're fighting guys that Bivol's been waiting for an opportunity for a long time. He boxed Craig Richards, he boxed Salamov, 2 fights that he wasn't really motivated with, and those guys came in and put in good performances. This is different. You know, Bivol is not a faded light heavyweight. He is a young, strong, unbeaten, hungry light heavyweight world champion. And this is technically a really good fight and a very tough challenge, you know. And I think if you start, you can't say about Charlo and say, oh, he didn't look great in his last fight about Bivol, and not say that about Charlo. Awful. So against Montiel or something, I mean, awful.
But then they would say, Eddie Benavidez is not, he's the young guy. Then you got Golovkin who's older, and they're like, well, it looks like this route is easier. What would you say to that? Yeah.
I mean, you've seen 2 of the best fights I've ever seen with Canelo Golovkin, and now you're going to see a third. But Canelo Benavidez is a great fight, and I'm sure it will happen. Let's see Benavidez fight someone of note who's a tremendous young fighter. I'm sure that fight will happen.
After May, then we're going to see Benavidez and Andrade. Like you're pretty certain.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've both got interim fights, but then Samson Leskovic said he wants over 7 million for that fight, and he wants more. What? I mean, what are these people smoking? You know what I mean?
Eddie, I know I only had a short time with you. I'll see you
Cheers, mate.
during the week.
Yes,
thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Eddie, I won't be too long, brother. Just, you know, how much of this deal going on with Canelo is, if all things are equal, you know, money's equal, he just wants to work with you over anybody else.
That's true, yeah, but what he wouldn't do is work with me and a bad deal. Do you know what I mean? So I think that the main point is that if you ask Canelo Alvarez who he feels the best in the business is and who does he want to work with, he would say Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. And that means a lot to us. And, you know, personally, I have a huge amount of respect for the guy. I think he's a legend of the sport. And sometimes you get to a position in life where you want to work with good people. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to work with arseholes that give you aggravation or don't motivate you. Canelo Alvarez motivates me to work harder, motivates me to go to the gym, to be more positive, to chase my own dreams, to live a simple life. Do you know what I mean? All of those things. So, but for our business, financially, of course, absolutely huge. But for me, personally, it's good for me, as for the soul. And that's important.
It ain't always about money, but
no, it's just most of the time.
Is it? Do you think it's just a big part of it is he's the boss when he works with you too?
Absolutely, every fighter's the boss. If a fighter signs with me and his professional debut is a 4-round fight, he is my boss. Ask another promoter to say that out loud.
Well, they'll all say that.
They won't say it. Right. They won't be able to.
De La Hoya
they won't get it out. They'll go, that fighter is my, you know, what was it, Liar Liar, that film? You know, when he's trying to say something and he couldn't quite get the words out, it'd be like that.
And I heard you explain why Bivol is a tougher challenge than Charlo, but is he honestly a tougher challenge than David Benavidez?
Yeah, I rate both guys, but I mean, again, like it's difficult because those guys, I mean, even Bivol, you know, Bivol, standout win, beat Joe Smith easily, who's the WBO world champion, right? Now, tell me a win that Benavidez has had or Charlo's had of any note. And both guys have looked quite poor recently and in recent times, but I don't take anything away from them. But you can't say that Jamal Charlo, a middleweight, is a tougher fight than Dmitry Bivol up at light heavyweight. It's impossible. But, you know, let's see those guys have real fights. One thing you can be rest assured is that Canelo Alvarez will fight absolutely everyone. But it's got to excite him. The Benavidez fight's a big fight. Big fight for the future.
Even you'd admit that.
No, of course.
Yeah.
Charlo, I don't think that's really a big
Cowboy
fight.
Stadium, like you had Saunders at, that was sold out. That would, with Jamal Charlo.
Yeah, but not because of Charlo.
It was
because of Canelo Alvarez. You know, he sold that stadium out against a Brit.
This is true.
Right? So, but Benavidez is a big fight. Big fight. I don't think the Charlo fight's a particularly big fight, but still a good fight. But Benavidez can be a big fight if that guy can go on and do something. You know? I spoke to David Benavidez, Jose Benavidez yesterday. You know, they're dying for PBC to deliver a real fight.
They want to fight Andrade.
No, but they don't really, because Samson Leskovic asked for 7 million plus to fight him, or more money to fight him than Canelo. So do they really want to fight?
David does.
David does, unquestionably, and so does Jose Benavidez. So respect to them.
And lastly, Eddie, you know, December, that third fight. What's the percentage that third fight is going to happen in December with Canelo? And who are some of the realistic names?
It'll definitely happen in December if he wins in May and September, and if he's not injured or anything. John Ryder in London, Makabu in Mexico, in Guadalajara. We'd like that fight to happen internationally. But let's take care of business first, May 7th.
What's the chances of the Better BF Smith winner for December?
Oh, yeah, that's possible as well. Possible. I mean, he's got one eye on becoming undisputed at 175, and that's, for me, if he can become undisputed in those two weight classes, I mean, he's already a legend, but that would be, you know, game changing.
Thanks, Eddie.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you. Good to see you, Eddie. All right, folks, it looks like... All right, folks, this place is, as you can see, just about emptied out. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today on FightHype Live. Tried my best to get in the questions you guys want to hear to Canelo Alvarez, Eddie Reynoso, and Eddie Hearn. Although Eddie Hearn, we had a little fun too at the end, but I hope you guys enjoyed everything that we brought to you today. We're going to be here in San Diego all week for Chocolatito versus Martinez. We'll be live tomorrow at the press conference. We'll be live at the weigh-in, and we'll be live on Fight Night. Keep it locked in on FightHype. Thank you, everybody.